Hi, welcome to another episode of Walking the Path. Today, as you can see, paddling the path. I'm in Ventnor Bay, which is my hometown, and I've lived here on and off since the year I was born. I'm in my daughter's kayak. In the background you can see my apartment there on the seafront. This kayak was a birthday present for my daughter a few years ago, and when she's not here, not using it, then I'm always really keen to take it out. I think it's a great feeling, something about the rhythm of paddling and the simplicity and being out on the ocean. It's almost like a meditative experience, and I think really clearly when I'm here. It's something I actually did when I was a child. My father used to own the amusements here on the seafront, and also we had a gift shop, and in that gift shop we sold inflatable canoes, and I was allowed to have one. I was about 10 years old, and I was in this location almost exactly where I am now, only the conditions were different. Today there's a bit of a sea mist. It's been created, it's a very, very hot day actually, and the heat on the water has created this sea mist, perhaps you can notice. The waves are fairly flat, but on this day when I was 10, I was out in my canoe and I came out too far and the waves were big, and I went sideways onto the wave, and a wave crested and tipped me over, and I couldn't swim. And it's not particularly deep here, but it's maybe 3-4 meters, and I'd sunk, and I tried to get to the surface, and I managed to get the first time and then the second time, but then the third time I went under the water, I breathed in at the wrong time, and I breathed in water and immediately choked and breathed out, but then I breathed in again and I was still under the water, so I breathed in more water, and all of the air from my lungs went, and although I was still breathing in and out, what I was actually breathing was the sea. And it became actually the most wonderful, peaceful experience. It was like a part of me just surrendered to it. And I suppose with the lack of oxygen, maybe I hallucinated. I came out of my body. I saw myself floating with my hair going up towards the surface and my toes away from the seabed, and it was the most peaceful experience. It felt like I was connected with it all. I was in the sea, and the sea was in me. I was breathing the sea in and out. And then a young girl, about 14, came and rescued me, and she grabbed me by my hair, which was quite long in those days, and she pulled me to the surface, and she got me halfway into the beach behind me. And then somebody else swam out and they got me the rest of the way and laid me on my side and got the water out of my lungs. And a crowd gathered round, and I heard somebody saying, "Call for the police and call for the ambulance." And once I had my strength back and my awareness, I got to my feet and I run. And I run all through the crowds, and I run up to my bedroom at the apartment we had here on the seafront, and I hid in my bed because I didn't want to get into trouble, and I never told anyone, and nobody knew it was me. And a few days later it was in the local paper, "Mystery boy nearly drowns on Ventnor seafront." And my mum said, "There, see that? A boy's nearly drowned, Brian. You're going to have swimming lessons, and you're not going out in your canoe anymore until you can swim well." And I never actually told him it was me until I was 18 years old, so some 8 years later. And then I learned to swim well. The strange thing, I suppose, because I think about the experience every so often, is that since that time I've never had a fear of the sea. The belief that I formed was that if the sea was going to take me, it would have happened there and then. And I was very fortunate that that was not my time, and so there's never been a fear for me of the sea. I'm very afraid of other things like heights, And it's interesting how different people can have different experiences and give different meaning to those experiences. So for me, the sum of the sea is something of bliss. And for other people, because of an experience they've had and a meaning they've given, it may be a terror. What's fundamentally important is that you are conscious of how your thoughts and your beliefs influence you and your life. The experiences we have and the meaning we give to them really shapes who we are as a person and the life that we live. And I meet so many people that will say to me that they can't change, it's just the way they are, it's because of their circumstances they were born into, the conditioning they received as children, or the environment now and society and the influence that it's having on them. And the important thing to remember is it's just an influence. It is not a determinant. We are able to influence ourselves and our life. I mean, a lot of people that tell me they just want to be in the flow, and I'm in the flow right now. I've been flowing with the current, and it's a fine thing because it makes the paddling easier. But if I was to have no influence, that flow would take me onto those rocks behind me. Because in life, the flow goes to many places, and sometimes the flow will be to somewhere where you do not necessarily want to go, although you can use that flow to help you power you on your journey, as long as you're clear about your desired destination. And by staying clear on that desired destination, like a beacon of light, and right now I'm facing the fog that's coming down and I'm needing to swim against the current, but by being clear on our desired destination, by setting a goal, we're able to influence ourselves and life in a good way, even in terms of our longevity and our well-being. Somebody recently said to me, we drift in the direction of our genes. And so it's important to have that health goal, set that influence, stay active, and do some things every so often that push your boundaries a little. Until next week, when I'll be on another path, probably not paddling, sharing another thought. Wish you all well. Bye for now.